Hey, it's Justin Popovich here, and today I'd like to talk a bit about the contextual opt-in list building method. Now, it sounds really fancy and complex, and I really just invented this name, but what it is, it's all about the following concept. And I have a little fancy animation for you here. But basically, it's using a specific piece of content within a specific context to invite people to join your list. And I'm going to show you exactly what this means in a second, but it does have some PLR implications. Wow, I'm really stumbling over my words here at the beginning of this video. Hopefully you stick with me. But I want to talk about private label rights examples in particular. But when I say contextual opt-in and this whole idea of content within a context, think about your traditional list building methods, right? You'll see people sending traffic to a squeeze page where you'll invite somebody to join your list in exchange for a report, or maybe you have a blog and your sidebar has something to the effect of, hey, join my list and I'll send you X. Or maybe you have one of those pop-ups. Somebody's visiting your website and then the standard opt-in box pops up after a few seconds asking them to join your list. And all that stuff works great. But the contextual opt-in takes a piece of content within a specific blog post or within a specific teachable and allows somebody to join your list to get more information about that particular topic. So what I want to do is give you 4 examples of this and kind of show you a different way of getting people to join your list and being able to put them on your list in a particular segment. Because if somebody joins your blog through the sidebar and they just want some general tips on your topic, that's one thing. But if they join your list based on a particular training lesson that they took from you or a particular blog post on a topic, you can put them on a different list and send them relevant offers and updates based on that one particular topic. So I want to cover these 4 examples here: time management tips sample, video marketing deep dive sample, the save time opt-in following a free training method, and then the get expanded rights sample method, even though the word get is missing a little quote symbol on the front part of it there. So let me dive into these 4 right now. Okay, the first example is going to be using our product called the 50 Time Management Tips. Just to give you an idea, here's the product. And basically, it's 50 time management tips broken into 6 different formats. So there's an ebook format. I won't show you the whole sales letter, but basically ebook, audiobook, video series, social media posters, autoresponder series, and slide decks. So there's a ton of content to choose from. But what I want to do is show you this contextual opt-in sample using part of this PLR pack. So I have the document right here. This is the version of the time management tips where it's 50 tips in an ebook format, and I'm just on tip number 1 here. You can see the ebook is illustrated and it's got each tip kind of laid out here. So what I could do if I wanted to implement the contextual opt-in method is I would take this full PLR package, and my goal would be to grab a couple of tips out of the ebook, publish them as a blog post, and then below that blog post or at the bottom of the blog post say, if you like these tips or if you find this information useful, then put your name and email address here. I'm going to send you my entire audiobook called 50 Time Management Tips, which I could pull that entire process off just with this PLR package because it does also include that audiobook that I mentioned earlier. So let's actually do this. Let's take the first 3 tips and turn them into a blog post. So for this example, I'm just using one of my personal blogs. I'm not going to publish the post live, but I just want to kind of show you the process. I'm using WordPress, and here's a new blog post. So let's call the post 3 cool time saving tips. Whether or not that's totally accurate for the content I'm going to grab here, that's arguable. Let's just do it for fun. And I'm going to go back to the document and pull this stuff out of here. So tip number 1, define the type of time that fits your lifestyle. So that's tip number 1, and we're going to we'll make it bold, and we'll give a bit of the tip here inside of it. So I won't even grab the whole tip, right? We'll just say the 3 tips of ways to spend your time: thoughts, actions, and conversations. As you begin to better manage your time, you'll see the need to designate the time you want to spend on each. And then I'll grab this second paragraph as well, and we'll paste that in. Now it looks like some of the text is actually bleeding off the right side. That's just because I've zoomed in so much. So just ignore that. But I don't want to go into making this a perfect post. I just want to show the concept. So we'll do the same thing. I'm going to grab tip number 2. Use the first half hour. Okay, I skipped ahead there because it was taking too long. You certainly didn't need to watch over my shoulder as I fiddled around with the blog post. But let me just hit preview here to show you roughly what's being built. So 3 cool time-saving tips. number one, number two, number three. Now, what I want to do is take this blog post and, assuming that somebody's read to the end, offer them the opportunity to go further. Now, whether or not this particular post is in the same context of the entire blog, the person, let's say this was a personal development style of blog, right? Well, my personal development blog might focus on 7 or 8 different topics, but this person is particularly really only interested in the time management aspect of it. Here's where I could say, well, don't bother joining my main list. Join my custom list for tips on time management. That's where I'm going with this. So what you could do is take this PLR product that I was showing you earlier, right? And I'm going to scroll down and show you there's this ebook or audiobook graphic right here. So we could put the little CD case and a little message saying, hey, if you like this, why not sign up to my list? And I'm going to give you all 50 of my best time management tips in audiobook format, which is probably a good play for this type of content consumer. A lot of people into this stuff like audiobooks. So let's actually do that. Again, using the exact same PLR product. Going back to that blog post, I don't want to show you over my shoulder again because it's going to take too much time. But basically, what I'm going to do is the following: I'm going to put an image here. I'm going to put some text here with an offer to opt in, and then I'm going to put the opt-in form right below that. So I'll pause and come right back when that's done. All right, so you can see what I did here was in the visual editor, I inserted the graphic that was built right into this PLR product, a little CD case, and then a note saying if you'd like to take full control of your calendar, blah, 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 grab a copy today. Now here's what the actual post looks like. So there's my 3 tips, and there's my little offer at the end. Context relevant offer. So this is what I was talking about earlier about contextual opt-in. They like this particular blog post. They want to go further. If you want to take full control of your calendar once for all, grab a free copy of my audiobook, 50 Time Management Tips. Just enter your name and email below and I'll send you access right away. Name, email, that would be your Aweber form or GetResponse or whatever system you want to use to do your email management. This is a great little example, and you're probably already sitting on quite a bit of PLR. I'm going to go ahead and make that assumption right now. So could you take some PLR? Now I should mention quickly that this particular PLR pack, Time Management Tips, is fully web publishable. So you're allowed to use this content as blog post content, as free giveaway content. Just make sure that the rights of the PLR you're using allows for that. But again, instead of just sitting on the PLR, turn it into a context relevant offer right inside of your blog. And again, now you can have segmented lists of people that you can send relevant offers to rather than one giant list of people that have different types of interests and skill sets and so on. So that's the first example. So going now back to the slide here, I've showed you tip number 1. The next one down is video marketing deep dive sample. So this one is cool because it's something I'm actually building right now. It's not done, but you kind of get a peek behind the scenes as something I'm working on this week. And what it was I basically hosted a webinar with a video marketing expert named Daryl Eves. He's one of the best video marketers I've ever met. Guy really knows his stuff, and he delivered a really great presentation for my audience, and I've posted it as a training blog post. Let me actually show it to you here. If we go over to, that was his YouTube video, but this is the actual blog post. And as you can see, my video player is once again not working correctly, so we'll have to fix that later. But what it was about a 90-minute session where Daryl shared a ton of amazingly valuable information, actionable stuff that you could basically implement to start using video to market your business. Lots of great feedback, both from the live audience and the people that watch the replay. Now, last week, I went ahead and had it transcribed. So this is the document here, and you can see there's a whole bunch of back and forth, Justin, Daryl, and so on. And there are around 13, almost 14,000 words in this transcribe, so it's pretty huge. So what I'm doing now, the second phase of this, is I'm having somebody go through this entire document and basically bolding and highlighting the key actionable lessons from this very long conversation. Obviously, if you want to spend an hour, or I guess it was 2 hours going through all of the content, you can, but a lot of people are in a bit of a rush and they just want to extract the goodies. So I'm doing that for them. And what I'm going to do is go back to this blog post here, once I fix the video, and then add an opt-in and basically say, look, if you like this video presentation, I've gone ahead and transcribed and summarized the key points from Daryl to give you basically a list of actionable advice that you can follow to implement Daryl's high-powered video marketing strategies. If you'd like a copy, put your name and email in here, and I'll send you that information. So basically, it's a great piece of content, but I'm going a step further by making the content easier to consume. All you need to do is join my list, in this case a specific segmented list, and then I'll be able to categorize everybody who's interested in video marketing, and particularly in Daryl's session, I'll have them on a specific list that I can again send relevant future trainings to or future offers to, who knows. But it's again a different way of getting people interested where they may not have just wanted to join my general PLR list before. This is a different way of engaging with that person based on a specific piece of content. Now, going back to the slide here, the other two examples, I won't even go into full screen. The other two examples are pretty much following the same type of path. The save time opt-in following free training, similar website. It was actually the same blog. It was one of my private trainings. A friend of mine, Mark Hunter, did a session right here called How to Create a Membership Site with Free Plugins. And basically it was a video-based training, and then he had slides and he had a list of plugins that he suggested you could use to create a membership site using WordPress without having to pay. And if you wanted to get if you wanted to watch his video, here you go. But if you want to go a little bit further to get the downloadable slides that he created with all of his notes for you to learn from, plus a list of his plugins, then you can sign up for his list right here. So again, contextual opt-in. It's not people just signing up for some random newsletter. They're joining your list to get something very specific from you. But this is a great introduction. People are watching a video from Mark, and then they're joining Mark's list to get additional information about that video. When Mark sends future broadcasts to people who join the list via this opt-in form, it's a much better higher quality lead because they're joining by wanting to get a very specific piece of information from him. They're likely going to remember Mark a lot further. And if I remember correctly, I'd have to get Mark to check, but I'm going to go ahead and say or assume that it was around 75% of the people that watched this video decided to join his list, which is not a bad percentage at all, especially when you consider the fact that the people who are joining are much more highly qualified, highly targeted prospects. And then the fourth one, get expanded rights sample method. If you're in the digital publishing business, specifically along the lines with some of the stuff that I do, sometimes I'll say, hey, you know what? I've got this piece of content for you. Here you go. But if you'd like rights to it, if you'd like to be able to use this for your customers, then give me your name and email, and I'll send you a unbranded version of it. And that's exactly what another one of my friends, Fern Chang, did over here. Let me actually, I have to go away from I have to go back to the blog where this was hosted. Once again, I skipped ahead there to save time, but here it was. So Fern created a decision-making report and basically said, here, Fern is offering you free access to this report. All you have to do is click here to get the PDF with resell rights. But she is also offering full PLR rights to the report. To get a fully editable PLR version, click here to get the editable version from Fern, and then it sends people over to an opt-in form where you can get the PLR and the editable version of it. And again, I'm ballparking it here, but I remember Fern had a huge success rate based on the total number of people that saw this post versus the number of people that opted in. I'm going to go ahead and say it was around 75%, maybe even higher. Again, contextual-based opt-ins work really, really well. Now, obviously, you need to be able to manage those because if you start having contextual opt-ins all over the place, now you're going to have all these different lists that you're going to need to now manage and send relevant content to. So do this within reason, but also keep this in mind when you're doing your list building that you don't just have to send people to a squeeze page with a single offer. You can have, like I have, a big website, right, where we're selling products and we have a member training area where we put up some free content. We have lots of free training content. This is a great opportunity for me to put contextual-based opt-in offers where somebody may not have joined my list before because they didn't want maybe some of my general PLR tips, but what they did want was something specific based on my free training. It's still a great opportunity for me to put them on my list and stay in touch with them. So keep all of that in mind. I hope you found this idea valuable, and above all else, use this as a way to put some of that PLR that you have sitting on your hard drive and maybe not being used yet. Think about my time management tips example, and I hope that sends you into maybe a new idea that you can implement this week and get going. Hope you like that. I look forward to hearing your feedback on this. Thanks very much for watching.